Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create your own dress pattern for your dog. Today I have Miss Pepper. Pepper is a Shih Tzu and she's 4 years old, and what we're going to do, she is going to demonstrate for me the measurements that we need to create our pattern. Okay, so with that being said, first thing first, you want to measure her neck. So you want to take a measuring tape and go around her neck and measure it, and I have 14. Next thing is you want to measure her chest. So you want to go from one side to the next and measure her widest part of her chest. And that's going to be 19 inches. The next measurement is from the base of her neck to the base of her tail. So you want to go from the base of her neck to the base of her tail. And that is 14 inches. Next is you want to go from pit to pit. So from one side of her pit where it starts at to the other side, and that is 14 inches. Next is the neck to the pit. So you want to measure the base of her neck to the measurement of where her pit starts at. So her pit is right here. So you want to go from her base of her neck, and that is 4 inches. And the last measurement that you need is the width of her neck. So you want to measure the width of her neck from one side to one side, and I measure 4 inches. So I'm going to mark that down. And that is going to be the measurements. And now I'm going to show you how to create your pattern on cardstock, tissue paper, or anything that's big enough to cut to make your template, okay? So now, Pepper, you want to say bye to everyone? Say bye. Okay, so here goes all my measurements so I can create my pattern. Now, with these two measurements right here, you want to add 4 inches extra for your velcro, snaps, or anything you're gonna do when you adding so you can do your closure on your dress. So with those two measurements, you want to add 4 inches, because that'll be 2 inches on each side, so that'll be plus 4. Okay, same thing with the chest. You want 2 inches extra on each side, so you got 19 plus 4 is 23. Plus 4 equals 23 inches. And this is 18. Okay. Now for all of your measurements, you want to add a 1/4 inch seam allowance. On each side, okay? So that's adding 1 inch to this one, plus 1 equals 19 inches. This is plus 1, this is 24, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, that's 15, 15, 5, and 5. So now we're going to go to our craft paper and we're going to come out with the design pattern, okay? My measuring tape, I'm going to come back to my measuring tape, and we're going to start, my measuring board, and we're going to start off with Pepper's chest. Now Pepper's chest measures 19 inches, and I'm going to add 4 inches more for 2 inch allowance on each side for the Velcro, plus I'm going to add 1/2 inch on each side, leaving me 24 inches going across. Okay, so now I want to go and measure 24 inches. Now, after you measure your waist from the bodice of Pepper's chest, you want to decide how wide you want the straps to be. So, I want to make them 4 inches, adding ½ inch on each seam allowance. So, I'm going to put it at 5 inches. 24-inch mark. I just want to come here and mark 5 inches, leaving a 1/4 inch on both sides to be sewn. I mean ½ inch. Now, you want to bring in your ruler, and with your ruler, get on the 24-inch mark to the 5-inch mark and draw a line straight down. Okay, next step is you want to find the center of your measurements of 24. Okay, now you know half of 24 is 12 inches. So you want to take your measuring tape and mark 12 inches. What we want to do is mark the center of her body from her neck to her tail. So you know that my measurements from the neck to the tail was 14 is, half of 14 is 7 plus 1 inch is 8. So you want to go from the bottom down here to number 8. And that is where the bottom of her neck stands. So, as you guys know, this measurement right here is the base of her neck. Now we're going to measure the base of her neck to the armpit. So we know the base of her neck to her armpit is 4. So I'm going to take my measurements and line it up here. And I'm going to mark 4. I'm not going to add no extra seam allowance to this one right here, because this is going to be the measurements for us to do the middle of her armpit to armpit. So you know Pepper's armpit was 14, adding ½ inch seam allowance on each side. Okay, that brings it to 15, and then I want to measure half of 15, which leaves it 7.5. So you want to mark your 7.5 from one side. So you want to mark the 15 right here. Okay, just for reference, these 2 marks that I make, these are going to be connecting lines, okay? So that's where we're going to connect everything all together. Now next, we want to measure the width of Pepper's neck. Now the width of Pepper's neck was 4. So you want to add half of 4. And that's 2 inches on this side. And 2 inches on this side. On this portion right here, you do not want to add nothing extra. Okay, now remember, when we measured this earlier, we only measure half of that. So half of that of her neck to her tail is 15. Half of that is 7.5. And then what I'm going to do is add another 7.5 going up. Another 7.5. And you could go slanted on the side, whichever way. And then you want to do the same on the other side, marking 7.5. just like so. So after you do that marking, now we are going to connect these lines together. You can either do a straight line, you can get a ruler, make a straight line from here all the way down, joining the pattern and going up, and you can go slanted on each side. So then you can either draw a straight line just like that. And then the next step is you want to find out how wide you want your tabs up here. I'll do 4 inches. Same thing on this side, do 4 inches. And now you just want to connect these lines with this, and then you cut out your pattern. So I'm just going to connect this to right here, because that's where the X is at. Then I want to go straight up. And it ain't going to be perfect. And you do the same on this side. And that's what your pattern looks like right now. Now, it is so easy to cut this out. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold this in half. And this should give me right straight dab in the middle. So now I'm just going to cut my pattern out. This is what our pattern looks like. And now I'm going to take this and cut it out on the fold of my material. And I'm going to be right back.